Good day, I'm Chris Jansing in New York, and right now on MSNBC, no answer yet to Title 42. Future of Title 42, which allows migrants to be turned away quickly at the border because of COVID-19 public health concerns, remains in limbo. What is clear is that the danger to migrants and the political fight are increasing. Though with NBC's Sam Brock, who has been covering this story at the border for us. Sam? Right now, that monster winter storm still wreaking havoc across the country. It has already killed 55 people, parts of New York, and meteorologist Angie Lassman. So, Jesse, as you know, because you're outside, I'm inside, but the biting cold is the issue here. But upstate, the death toll in Buffalo, New York, has been climbing. The Buffalo News is reporting desperation growing after 3 days of positivity, and how great people have been through all this. Jesse, come in from the cold. Thank you so much for braving it for us. Angie, you've been tracking this storm since last week. This holiday season, Ukrainians are showing their strength. Finding was yet another extraordinary display of resilience. The pictures I saw coming out of Ukraine, determined Ukrainians celebrating Christmas even as the war rages on. What is the latest from the battlefield and in cities and towns around you? Those possible negotiations. Really, the only person who seems to be talking about them, and then he kind of contradicts himself, is Vladimir Putin. Are we at any point in this war where you see some sort of serious peace negotiations happening? And coming up, Donald Trump. Today, the focus is squarely on the Justice Department and what they might have that isn't in the January 6th committee report. Report in Fulton County, Georgia, over whether Trump or his allies broke Georgia laws when they were trying to allegedly overturn the state's 2020 results. Indictments, of course, are up to the district attorney, Fani Willis, but the grand jury report, which is due within weeks, could recommend criminal prosecution. What are you watching for, Paul? It's a great story on the ramping up toward the 2024 presidential. And as I'm listening, to what we're hearing from Paul and the uncertainty we all have about where this is going, how much do you think what the DOJ does decide will influence who runs, who doesn't, how they run? Or is there a general sense already that Trump running is not a reason not? Without a doubt, Paul Butler, the stakes couldn't be higher. Phil Rucker, loving the very festive backdrop. Thank you for that. Appreciate you both for being with us today. Shopping season. Now that Christmas is over, we are expecting to see a rush of returns for those who didn't get exactly what they wanted. Analysts predict almost $171 billion worth of products will be returned this holiday, where there seem to be a lot of folks around. So what are the holiday spending numbers that you're watching for going to tell us about where the economy is and where advice? I actually loved everything I got. No returns for me this year. Happy to report. Brian Chung, thank you so much.
Lucky.
Yeah, no kidding. Good day, I'm Chris Jansing in New York, and right now on MSNBC, Americans are digging out from one of the worst with that deadly winter storm. The nationwide death toll pair. Jesse Kirsch is in New York City for us, and NBC News meteorologist Angie Lassman is also back with us. So, Shaq, I think Southwest Airlines alone has canceled hundreds and hundreds of flights. Yeah. How are people dealing with all this travel chaos, Lassman? And extreme weather isn't the only concern this holiday season. Experts are once again warning about cases of COVID, flu, and RSV, especially in the wake of these large indoor holiday gatherings. The triple-demic is filling up hospitals across the country at a frightening rate. NBC's Sam Brock has more. And an MSNBC medical contributor. Great to see you, Vin. It feels like we've been talking about the triple-demic for months now. So where are we in this? The beginning, the middle, or the end? Should we be wearing them, and if so, under what circumstances? It's always good to see you. I hope you and yours had a wonderful holiday. Thanks so much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. We are staying on top of all the January 6th report changed the political landscape. Check now to a one-of-a-kind story in Ukraine, where an American hero is on a humanitarian mission. Our thanks to Ellison for bringing us that story. I want to bring in Syria and Lebanon director at the White House, Hagar Chamali, and senior advisor at Human Rights First, Lieutenant General Ben Hodges. It's good to have both of you here. So, General, there you have one American doing what he can do, right? But give us the big picture as this year winds down, and now we're in, month 10? How vast is the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine? And Zelensky was at Congress. He spoke before Congress that it was announced that there would be right now in Buffalo, New York, first responders are conducting because they don't have heat in their homes. Are you confident that you know where the trouble spots are? 15 years, I grew up on Lake Erie in the snow belt, but what you guys are going through is really horrendous. Are you confident of your communications system? In other words, if people are still out there, for example, the nearly 10,000 who may still not have power, are they able to reach out? Are they able to understand what's going on? If there are people who need to be rescued? Pope Francis once again wading full force into international politics, in particular, what he has called the senseless war. Vatican correspondent also, one of our contributors
Great
here.
Great to be with you, Chris.
We've talked about this before. This Pope has not been shy about taking on politically hot topics, condemning the use of food as a weapon of war. What's his strategy here, and what's been the reaction, Chris? I think he did what? Delegate a cardinal to be the person who was very involved in, talked a lot about, but not everybody thinks he should weigh into, including refugee issues. Talk a little bit about the politics of this pontificate, which has now reached 10 years, right? And that's going to do it for us this hour, but make sure to join us for Chris Jansing from 10 to noon tomorrow for Chris Jansing Reports, and maybe I'll see you then. Up next, Richard Louie picks up our coverage.